Welcome back to Drink, Reid, Fabio. I'm Kate Brimmer.
And I'm Sophia Kayafis, and we are your hosts of this podcast. Today, we are looking at 1-star reviews of our favorite books. We have found some hilarious ones. So, we made a list of 10 books. I did half and Kate did half. So I don't know what her reviews are that she's going to share, and I don't either. So we're just going to share them and talk about them. So let's get started. The first book that I'm going to be talking about today is Love in Other Words by Christina, which is our favorite romance book of all time. So, yeah.
This is going to hurt a little bit.
Yeah, they're all going to hurt. I am never taking a recommendation from you bitches again. This book was so unbelievably bad that I'm honestly dumbfounded at how so many people love it. I went into it excited and it honestly seemed like something I would like. The beginning of the novel met these expectations and I was interested in the story until shit hit the fan. Yeah, and then she goes on
and on.
List about all her things.
Oh man.
And then the second review I have is this person DNF'd, but they said, peanut butter and jelly have more chemistry than Elliot and Macy. I'm surprised I could remember her name. I had to pause and think. DNF'd around 50% and it took me a week and a half to even get to that point. One thing is for certain, if I needed a nap, I would read this book. I'd make it maybe one chapter and I'd be out like a light. I just finished People We Meet on Vacation. And she was like,
long.
Yeah, and she was like, I hope to get similar vibes, but honestly, it fell flat. She said, go read People We Meet on Vacation instead. So those are my two reviews of Love in Other Words. What do you think?
Ow! No,
I know.
I don't agree. No.
I mean,
I can't even see it. I can't even see it. No.
I don't see
how do you like it? How do you like People We Meet on Vacation and not like Love in Other Words?
Yeah.
Starting big, we're gonna start with ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses. You guys
Yikes.
No, we had to do it. We had to throw this one in there.
Of course, it's our favorite.
Yes. I'm 1 second away from dousing myself in gasoline and lighting myself on fire just so I never have to look at this book again.
These bitches be so dramatic.
That's it.
About a book.
That's it. My second one is, there was zero chemistry. Their relationship felt completely forced. Yes, some of the scenes were sexy and hot and whatever, but if there is so little chemistry between the characters, those scenes just don't make me feel anything. It felt like the relationship went from mutual dislike and skepticism to, I cannot live without you and I'm prepared to die for you kind of love in the blink of an eye, which... Tamlin was one of the most boring and nondescript characters I have ever read about in a while.
Okay, this is funny because I can see what they're saying, but if they knew I was coming, they get it. So the next book we have is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, and it's a very popular thriller. We really enjoyed it. The 1-star reviews for this were absolutely hilarious.
Unhinged.
Read anything else on your TBR first. Anything. Better yet, delete The Silent Patient from your TBR. If you do, you'll never know what it feels like to become aware that you could have spent that 4 to 5 hours reading a great book, or at least a better book. Definitely a book that doesn't do a major disservice to anyone who practices in the mental health field or who lives with a mental health impairment. And maybe even a book that doesn't present misogyny on every page.
Okay, but that's the point.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean,
he's not good.
We don't want to spoil it.
But he doesn't. He's not a good one.
Yeah.
That's
and also like
the point.
Misogyny on every page. In what way? There's misogyny in every aspect of living a life right now. So how is there not ever going to be misogyny? I just don't know.
True.
Not silent enough. Not silent enough.
Not silent enough. Next we're going to talk about People We Meet on Vacation, which...
By our girl,
Emily Henry. Ladies, If a man pulls a sad puppy face at you, run as fast as you can.
Okay, that's just picky. Come on.
That's funny.
That was just being picky.
And then the next one is, by the time Poppy and Alex had figured out they were assholes for involving other people in their relationship, I was already so done with them. Which, kind of valid.
Yeah, I mean, some of these one-star reviews that I was reading, I was like, but some of them are wrong.
It's funny because it's true.
It's like somewhat true. I'm like,
okay,
you're right, but I still love it. Okay.
Also, it's not that kind of book.
It's not.
We're really not that kind of book. We need to. Some people really get too serious on these rom-com books.
Yeah.
I'm like, it is literally a Hallmark movie in a book. Why are we going off?
Yeah. Okay. Next, we have The Selection by Kiera Cass, the first book. And here we go. This is one of our favorite fantasy series. If you can get past the I'm smelling my armpit cover and also the silly names and the horribly unoriginal storyline, this is the, if you remember that cover.
Oh.
And the terrible writing, wait, really? You can get past all of that? What does that leave you then? A nice font? Seriously though, read reviews for this one. They're not favorable for a reason.
Ooh, that's harsh.
I know.
That's harsh.
The silly names. Every fantasy book has silly names. What do you mean?
It's true.
Hello? Luna Lovegood? Harry Potter? Bobo Baggins?
That one's weird.
Like, it's fantasy, bitch. Anyway. In Star, Asterisk, or whatever the little stars, rubs hands together. Her name is America Singer, and she sings. But that isn't the only thing that made this book hilariously painful. I've seen tons of reviews comparing this to The Bachelor TV show, because that's exactly what it is. And I'm like,
that's why we like it.
Yes, that's why we're here, girl. Also, a lot of people were mad about her name being America Singer, and the fact that she sings. Can we just bring up the fact that there are so many names in American history that are inspired by jobs, like Mason, based on someone who is a Mason. Like, I can't think of any more, but like, there is literally so many.
Also, in their kind of world, that's really normalized.
Exactly.
Because they're forced to do those kinds of things.
It's like she
has to.
In a sector where they're the artsy sector. So...
Makes sense.
Anyway. It makes sense, but whatever. I get it. It's kind of stupid, but like...
Moving on. We're going to talk about Lovelight Farm by B.K. Borison, which you guys know. We love. I have been deceived. This was... Period. This was what I'm calling a lazy and fake friends to lovers, where the characters wanted to bone each other from the moment they first met years ago, but where the friendship element was added just so the author could have the characters thirsting over each other as soon as possible into the story without showing any emotional development from platonic to romantic feelings. But that's what we like.
Yeah, but also I disagree.
When I read a friends to lovers, I want to see the friendship before romantic feelings happen. And this was the farthest thing from that. That's just your own opinion. I mean, they did, she jumps
in right away, but then the book's gonna be ages long if she doesn't. It's also a fucking romance. That's what we're here for.
My second one, this is it. They were annoying, I'm sorry.
Hi. They're not annoying, they're the best! But why, though?
Didn't like
what
the
did
characters.
they do?
I don't know.
They're very normal.
I don't know.
And also, it's a rom-com.
That's why I thought it was so funny, too. I'm like, they're not the most normal couples ever. How are they annoying?
Yeah.
I would understand it if it was, like, for one of the more quirky, like, maybe, like, Love Hypothesis or Love on the Brain, where they're quirky characters. But, like...
I mean, she's kind of quirky, but, like...
Not like
Love on the Brain or whatever.
Yeah, like, come on.
Next book we have is Beach Read by Emily Henry. Another one of our faves. When I watch you sleep, I feel overwhelmed that you exist. Which is a quote from the book. Like, are you fucking kidding me? This book questioned my intelligence and honestly the very profession of being a writer. It was unbelievably cliche, the characters were painfully one-dimensional, and my eyes hurt from how far I rolled them back into my head. I unfortunately powered through with only 20% left. I was like, you're dramatic.
Ooh, I felt like it was pretty original.
Also, when I watch you sleep, I feel overwhelmed that you exist. That's cutest
adorable.
line ever. What?
If a man told me that, I'd be like...
And she's mad about it?
Oh.
I was like, this is everything.
Yeah.
This is the cutest thing I've ever heard.
Exactly.
If I have to read Crooked Smile or Corners of His Mouth one more time, I will literally die. I decided to try this one out after reading reviews saying it wasn't cliche, and once again reminded why I hate romance novels. January is so goddamn annoying, and the entitlement she feels toward knowing all about Gus's private life is astounding. If I could choose one character from all of the books I've ever read to stick a hot French fry into their eyeballs so hard, it would be her.
That is a lot.
I was like,
Whoa. What was
this is fiction,
Whoa.
queen. This is fiction. She's not a real person. Like, we need to go.
Okay, can we also talk about how they admit that they don't like romance?
Yeah.
Don't leave a review on a romance novel if you don't like the genre. That'd be like us going to Misery on Goodreads and being like, DNF'd. I hated every moment of this. I hate horror books.
Yeah, I hate horror books, but it was bad.
It was the worst book I've ever read.
Yeah. And, like, I do get that January did push Gus a little bit to, like, get into his head. And I think sometimes that can be a little bit like, okay, but he might not be ready for that girl. But the stick a hot French fry into their
That's
eyeballs...
intense.
About
That's
a
intense.
fictional character.
It's a lot.
I get that if it's like an evil character, like one where you're like, oh my god, like this person sucks so bad, like I want to punch him in the face. But like a random ass normal girl, she's like, yeah, want to stick a hot French fry in her eye.
Yeah, silly. Next, we're gonna talk about Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling.
Yes.
The first one is, so, this is the book everybody loves? That's it. 1 star.
1 star. Period.
This one is, Harry Potter is like 50 Shades of Grey in the following ways. 1. The hype about the books is what sold the books. The books themselves suck. 2. The writing styles are horrific. 3. The plots are flimsy and meandering. 4. The characters are one-dimensional and simplistic. So just like an overall arc of bad.
Bad. Like, just a bad book.
I don't understand reviews like this.
Okay.
Why do you feel the need to point out, like, so...
Yeah. Also, it's a children's book. There's gonna be simplicity because a child needs to understand this.
So it's not...
So-
And I feel like, even with that being said, it's extremely complex.
Yes.
I wouldn't say, like, after 4, I wouldn't have put those as children's novels.
No.
And the last one is...
Oh, yeah.
Harry Potter books are predictable and boring. Even my kindergartner got annoyed with them.
Okay. The last book that I have is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is one of my favorite books of all time. So this was kind of painful to hear. The first one I have is, as I write, this book has a higher rating than Catcher in the Rye, a higher rating than The Color Purple. It's rated higher than Hold On to Your Hat, both The Great Gatsby, and To Kill a Mockingbird. Yes, you read that correctly. Why? Someone tell me why right fucking now. This book is crap. This book is what would happen in the dark of night at the Barnes & Noble if the shittiest romance novel in the store brushed up against Elizabeth Taylor's autobiography. I'm assuming here she has one. And those two books somehow had a book baby. And that book baby was born on a stack of U.S. weekly magazines, and so some of that smut rubbed off on the horrible book baby. I recommend you read this awful thing only so you can honestly give it the 1-star rating it deserves. Please join me in putting this awful book in its place.
Ooh. That's not
And
even
I'm
funny. That's
and-
just harsh.
I know. Well, what drew me in was that she started off comparing the rating to classic
Classics.
books, And I'm like, you can't be comparing them. Like, you just can't.
No.
It's not on the same level. Like,
No.
these were books written in a completely different time period. Like, written, actually, not like when the story takes place. So, I also think, like...
You just can't compare them.
You just can't. This next one. Oh, I'm feeling bitchy. 1.5 stars. This shit, though, babe, what are we doing? I could not connect with any of the characters. They all felt so flat.
That's the point.
Even Evelyn.
That's the point.
Who absolutely...
Flat?
I know. Yeah, flat. Not the point. Who absolutely should have had the most depth. Like, okay, so you know when you're reading a book and you just get sucked into it and all the characters are so vivid that, like, when they get hurt, it's heartbreaking? This was the opposite of that. When shit went down and the characters got hurt, I didn't feel anything but pissed off. Like, babe, what the fuck were you trying to do here? Me at all the characters. And then she goes a little bit more.
Babe.
But I'm like, flat?
I kind of get what she means by not being able to relate, but that's kind of the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point. That you don't relate to them because they're so out of the box, which is the reason why you don't like them, is because they're not flat, because
they live a different lifestyle and that's why it's fun to read. Because we're having to get in the head of someone that we don't understand, particularly most people don't, because they don't know what it's like to be in that situation. But flat? I would say it's complete opposite of flat. I would say especially Evelyn Hugo is such a vivid and interesting and, like, dynamic character.
Yeah.
That's just interesting to me. Like, I don't know. A lot of people were like, yeah, it fell flat for me. And I'm like, it's very dramatic.
I think at a point, because it was so overhyped, some people probably went into it with super high expectations. So I can see it from that point of view. And the last book we're going to talk about is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. There are some good ones for this one, guys.
Yeah, I can imagine. This book is a kind of like, you either like it or you don't.
I'm going to start off with a little introduction of, I'm blocking everyone who said this was good on Book Talk.
I feel that way sometimes.
Yeah, but it's funny.
Yeah, that is funny.
I have many regrets. The Love Hypothesis is a book that I went in with low expectations, and somehow I was even more displeased with it than I expected.
Oh, man. Oh, like, we were talking about this, that, like, when we first read The Love Hypothesis, we were like, 5 stars, like, this is so cute. And now I would say, like, I don't know, I don't remember too much of it, but I would say maybe like a 4-star.
I'd probably give it a 3.
I'd probably lower it, but
I liked it,
but I do get what people are saying. Like,
yeah.
It is kind of cheesy, and
silly.
it's not for everyone, and there are parts where I'm like, oh,
it's truly a rom-com.
It's a personal preference kind of book, and I think certain romances you just have to be that. Like, they're just that way.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last one is extremely unsatisfactory. The main characters are supposed scientists, but seem to think that the solution to their problems is to fake date as opposed to having adult conversations with their friends.
I mean, valid.
Goodness. If this was a representation of actual scientists, I would beg to escape this earth ASAP.
Oh no. Okay, but that's kind of valid. Like, it's cheesy, but, like, it's a romance book. Okay, let's, like, all remember that.
Come on.
Like, yeah, they're scientists. It's not going to be realistic.
Yeah,
it's a fake dating book. Okay?
I did read a lot of people that were a part of the STEM community, and they're like, I feel like this is making fun of us.
Oh,
Like,
well,
I
that's
feel
not
like
good.
this is making fun of STEM scientists and what they do because the characters are so crazy and quirky and silly. I was like, yeah, I can see that. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, subscribe, follow us on all the things, and we'll see you next time on
Drink Read Fabio.
Bye.